Illustrious. The one you've really been waiting for. Me, right? Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Meet the Artists. As always, we are thrilled to have this partnership with New West Symphony. Michael Christie, of course.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And I will let him take over and talk about the beautiful performers, their singers that are here with us today, and the performance that will be Saturday night at the Civic Arts Plaza. The Activities Department does have 3 orchestra seats available for purchase. That money that you purchase those tickets with goes right to our Employee Appreciation Fund. So if you would like tickets, please come up to our office. We are happy to sell you those tickets for that wonderful donation. They're excellent orchestra seats. So come see us after the show. And welcome, New West Symphony. Thank you, Michael. Welcome.
Thank you, Holly. Great to see everybody. We've got a lovely program for you today. We have a concert coming up this weekend that I think is just, well, we try to make them as joyful as we can. So I think we're all on a, we know each other well, so I think that's great. But let's just welcome our guests. We have mezzo-soprano Julia Metzler, tenor Ashley Faatoalia, bass Patrick Blackwell, and their pianist John Ballerino. Welcome to the 4 of you. Come on down. So, when I think about the holidays and the umbrella thematically that I try to create with these concerts, I think about traditions. And that's one of the things that I think is most important as we think about our families and friends and the things that connect us to our past and then the things that we pass along into the future. That sense of tradition and that the things that we just rely on as the fixtures for our lifestyle and our memories and the way that we engage with people. So we're going to cover a little bit of that. Actually, I'm going to ask you guys about some of your traditions as well, because as much as we have similar traditions, there's wonderful little changes from family to family, which I think are so special, and you get to know each other a little bit as well. So thank you, the 4 of you, for being here. Wow, okay, I feel like it's a very imposing table here, so that's fantastic. But so I thought, actually, why don't we get the spirit of this whole thing off and running? Which one of you would like to start, and what would you like to sing?
Yeah.
Julia?
So I've chosen to start Si me ver avait des ailes, which is by Reynaldo Hahn. We were just talking about this composer. He was really an incredible young composer. He started writing songs when he was earlier than a teenager, and I think that this first song he may have written around 13 or 14 years old. You would never know it, but just one of the most beautiful pieces of music that I think I've ever sung. It's simple, beautiful, and a nice way to start.
Awesome. Thank you.
Si
special moments when I listen to a singer and I become very jealous of you all is when the message of the music's going and then all of a sudden just opens up, right? And just really takes your breath away. That was just so fantastic. So why don't you grab one of the mics and what's a favorite, I think it's on. What's one of your favorite traditions that extends through your family or friend group or whatever that is this season?
I was just thinking about that when you mentioned that. I think our most specific family tradition that we always look forward to is both of my grandparents made toys. My grandfather was a woodworker, my grandma was a painter, and we have a lot of, they're no longer with us, but we have a lot of the furniture and toys and things that they made. And one of our favorite things, because in fact my family is Jewish, but we love Christmas, is they made a series of Christmas ornaments that were kind of quirky and funny. And there's a Scrooge that we put at the top of our Christmas tree, just as our little wink and a nod to like, that's not quite our holiday, but we do love the tree.
Well, I think, one of the things that we have been focusing on over the I think, past 4 years of doing these concerts is this notion of the umbrella, of the theme of the winter solstice. Mm-hmm. So this idea that traditions, cultures, and societies, basically from the dawn of mankind, have been uniquely and specifically aware of that turning point in our calendar where the darkest day starts to yield to the promise of light, and the restoration of spring, but that also manifests in questions about, do they have enough food to make it through to that springtime? Do they have, what will their migratory patterns be? And so all of that then filters through the centuries, and we're talking so many centuries of mankind's observance of this, and then becomes our traditions of today. The celebrations that we have, the Yule that becomes the Christmas tree, so to speak, all those ornaments decorating, the different cultures, because obviously half of the planet is celebrating in summertime, so they would have their summer solstice. But I think that's one of the great things about how a tradition like what you were saying, regardless of what we're now calling it as Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever, but can cross over, and so I thank you for sharing that. Why don't we stay in the lower voice category since we've had mezzo-soprano? Why don't we hear, maybe you could start with a tradition that you
Sure.
hearken to.
It is on, okay. My family tradition is to go see the Christmas tree and to have some Yuletide cheer, eggnog, the usual. And I'm from the East Coast, and I only remember one white Christmas, sadly, just one. But now I'm a grandfather, actually. I've got 2 grandkids, so now we're really going to have a little bit of fun improvising all of those things. And it is just a beautiful time, wonderful, joyous time of year where family and friends come together and have a great time. Yeah.
What would you like to sing for us this morning?
Well, this is from The Marriage of Figaro, probably a recognizable tune. It's Non più andrai, and it happens at the end of Act 1. And Figaro is celebrating the fact that Cherubino is being shipped off to war. Sorry, I knew I was going to get that out. And so this is from Mozart's Le Nozze di Figaro, or The Marriage of Figaro.
Non più andrai, farfallone amoroso, notte e giorno d'intorno girando, e le belle turbando il riposo, Narcisetto adoncino d'amor. Delle belle turbando il riposo, Narcisetto adoncino d'amor. Non più avrai questi bei pennacchini, quel cappello leggero e galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante, quel vermiglio donnesco color, quel vermiglio donnesco color. Non più avrai quei pennacchini, quel cappello, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante. Non più andrai farfallone amoroso, notte e giorno d'intorno girando, nelle belle turbando il riposo, Narcisetto adoncino d'amor. Nelle belle turbando il riposo, Narcisetto adoncino d'amor. Fra guerrieri può far pacco, Grandu stacchi stretto sacco, schioppo in spalla, sciabla al fianco, collo dritto, muso franco, un gran casco, un gran turbante, molto onor, poco contante, poco contante, poco contante. Ed invece del fandango, una marcia per il fango, che montagne per valloni, con le nievi e solioni, all'ontempo tutti i tuoni, alle verdi tutti i tuoni, che le pale in tutti i tuoni, all'oreschio quanti schior. Non più avrai quei pennacchini, non più avrai quel cappello, non più avrai quella chioma, non più avrai quell'aria brillante. Non più andrai farfallone amoroso, notte e giorno d'intorno girando, nelle belle turbando il riposo, Narcisetto adoncino d'amor. Nelle belle turbando il riposo, Narcisetto adoncino d'amor. Cherubino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar, cherubino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar, alla gloria militar, alla gloria militar.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, John, very much. Yeah, these classical composers always need to write music for the scene change, right? So leaving the singers to think, well, maybe I'll march around the whole place. And
In the opera, it's...
you've got some time.
Scenery going
No,
on.
absolutely. No, that's absolutely fantastic. So the concert that we're going to be performing this weekend, I think is quite special. For those of you who have experienced our Winter Spectacular performances in the past, we have always made a large mix of, I'd say, thematically inspired winter or, winter-themed music from the classical genre, but then also mixing in some holiday favorites and just trying to give everybody a broad scope of music, which as I think you've come to know from me, I really like this idea of the kaleidoscope in the program. So for those of you who are able to join us, we have some Mozart, we have some Grieg, we have some Haydn, which I think really gives us a great chance to let the sparkle of the orchestra shine through. And then we're going to have the Los Robles Children's Choir singing. We've had them here in the past, and they are wonderful partners of ours. So they're going to be singing some Spanish carols. They're going to be singing a beautiful arrangement of Silent Night, and then our colleagues here will also be participating in a wonderful Hanukkah audience sing-along medley and all other holiday carols as well. So it's really a huge amount of activity going on. One of the things that we're adding to the program this year, which I'm really excited about, is a film called The Snowman. And this is from a book that was written in the early 80s. And then the BBC took that project, brought a wonderful British composer to compose a really just a touching, gentle score, and then they animated the book. And so it's a 25-minute film, very sweet, about a young boy who builds a snowman, and then the snowman comes to life as Frosty the Snowman would in our kind of popular parlance. But this conjuring of the soul of the snowman is very sweet, because he takes the boy on these wonderful adventures flying through the air, and there's even a wonderful song for the children's choir to sing, which is happens at the end of or near the end of the movie to just show the bond between the boy and the snowman. So that's going to be really a nice addition to the program. So it's a lot of variety. The orchestra sounds amazing. Our guests sound amazing. These three have very graciously agreed to help us with the narration of the film, because it is a silent film apart from the music, but there's a poem that goes along with it, and so we've divided that up to be the narrator, the boy, and the snowman. And so these three are going to be not only singing marvelously, but hamming it up as vocal actors as well. So Ashley, you've been with us a number of times. So wonderful to have you. I think back to our wonderful experiences, not only on stage, but also during COVID. You were a huge presence in our online series called Global Sounds, Local Cultures. So it's great to have you. I use some of the video from time to time of you singing Margaret Bonds and other things as part of some of our, reminding people of how, what a special impact that you made on us. So welcome back.
Thank you, Maestro. Thank you.
Tell us about an interesting tradition that you associate with this time of year.
I've had the opportunity to think about this one. Fortunately, my colleague's going first here, so I did think for a second, and one of the things that is really special at the holidays for me is remembering my great-grandmother, who was in my home. I grew up in a home where my great-grandmother was, and she lived to be 105, and I ended up helping my mom take care of her. And she loved Christmas. It was one of her favorite times of year, favorite holiday, and she made it really special for all of us. And so in her passing, I find that I love Christmas even more. And so it's a way for me to connect with her and her memory. And so one of the things that she loved to do, that I always kind of complained about as a kid, after Christmas was over, after Christmas dinner had been eaten, we were all gonna get in the car and we're gonna go look at Christmas lights in the neighborhood. I grew up in the South Bay down in Torrance, where there's a neighborhood we call Sleepy Hollow, and they have all the homes decorated. Really, I mean, it's kind of crazy how far they go. Themes, Disney, Star Wars, anything you can think of, they decorate their homes. They go all out, and the people sell cocoa on the sidewalks. It's a real affair. The police organize the traffic when it happens through the weekend. We would go every year religiously. So now, whenever I have an opportunity, I go look for Christmas lights, and I think about my grandma.
Oh. What are you going to sing for us this morning?
I'm going to start with, we joked this morning, I picked probably the heaviest operatic rep in terms of dramaturgy and intent. So this is from Massenet's Werther, and this is Pourquoi me réveiller, which, just a little context, Werther is in love with Charlotte, and he has returned to find that she's engaged. And he rereads the poetry that they used to read together by Ossian, and suddenly this poem, Why Awaken Me, O Breath of Spring, it has a different meaning now. But it's at Christmas time, so here we are at the holidays.
Thank you so much.
Pourquoi
You know, even though that was intense, I'm really glad we got to experience that. I mean, wow, I'd give him another applause. That was just amazing. I think that's really the power of it, actually, when it comes down to it, isn't it? I mean, just to grab you by the heart and just. So I'm just thinking, because we all spend a little time in the shower in the morning, like getting going. So you're singing. Any of you are singing these performances in the morning. So what is it? How do you get these vocal folds, through the morning start? The three of you, just tell us a little about the maintenance of these instruments, because they are just these little bits in our throats.
I'll be honest, I'll go first. Yeah. Because I probably did the least this morning. I got up real early because I had to get here on time. That's a singer's #1 goal, believe it or not, even when we're late, is to be on time. So then I be here on time, I warm up in the car. And then I thought about that. So I drove for a little bit. I do warm up in the car, though, I will say.
So 101.
Right on the freeway,
going.
I keep it real light. And I sound more like Patrick when I first start off in the morning, so I just keep it low, and then I actually wait Maestro until I see someone. So I don't feel like I was really vocally ready until I started talking to Patrick earlier this morning. I like to talk. I like to have conversations. So you'll find me chatting with people before a lot of shows, and people say, don't you want to rest your voice? No, this is it. I want to get things moving, and this is a way I find to just have a quick conversation and warm up a little bit, not too much.
What about the two of you? Julia, anything you?
I mean, actually kind of a similar morning. I warmed up in the car when it's this early, and my husband was still asleep when I left, so I can't make those noises when someone is sleeping. But yeah, I like to do these little little small things that kind of get your chords together, but without necessarily putting a lot of pressure on it. Drinking water, actually, just being hydrated is one of the most important things I want to make sure to do before I'm going to sing, and yeah, I mean, when it's early, you have limited time to get ready, so.
Well, I think especially in a time of year when the weather is changing so much, and you think, oh great, maybe a little more humidity, and then the next day it's going to be 75 or whatever it is, and then suddenly, so. And Patrick, what do you
Well, I'll be totally honest. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is let it rip when I go in. just making sure that I can get through the day and sing. But for me, some green tea and a little bit of honey. And then, of course, warming up in the car, which is what we all have in common. And it's funny, occasionally I'll be at a stoplight, and if I have the window down, someone will hear me, and then they'll mock me.
I don't know. I feel like in Southern California, it's all possible, right? I'm sure
it's happening.
We're not the weirdest thing they drove by today.
They've seen worse.
I would be so lucky to hear an opera singer like you pull up warming up.
Right, exactly. All right, so let's do some more singing. What else would you like to give to us today?
Well, let's see. I actually had 2 more pieces that I'd like to do, if that's okay.
Let's go for it.
Because I ended up with 1 extra on the program. So I thought I would start with, or continue with, Bill from Showboat. This is simultaneously one of the sweetest and most insulting songs that I think exists. But I hope you'll enjoy it. It's kind of more from the musical theater canon. And then after that, I'd like to sing a piece which I am sure every single one of you recognizes. Maybe I'll introduce that after. By Puccini. And oftentimes I think that when this piece is sung, it kind of seems like it's very kind of sad and melodramatic, but an important thing to know about what's going on in the story is this is a young woman who is manipulating her dad. She's saying, oh please, Daddy, I'm going to die if you don't let me marry my boyfriend. I will throw myself off of a bridge. She's not going to throw herself off of a bridge, but she is going to marry her boyfriend.
such a thrill and so wonderful. I've got some traditions I want to know from your side as well. It's so great to have you. The funny thing, we expect I'll go all these different turns and avenues when performing in these kinds of events, and I want to thank you for the flexibility that is required for making some of these kinds of things work. It's great. And also, I know that you guys work together for, I don't know, a whole, 10, 15 minutes before?
10, 20 minutes.
Right, exactly, so thank you, just amazing.
Great pleasure.
So, what's in your tradition wheelhouse?
Well, I was, excuse me, another thing. I was raised in Mexico, in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, which they call the Pearl of the West. And it's a different tradition there. Christmas is celebrated Christmas Eve. That's when the presents are given. It's a whole month of festivities. There's what's called posadas. There's 12 of them. Parties, and then there's after Christmas there's Tres Reyes Magos, the three kings, and it's a beautiful tradition full of a different kind of cuisine, tamales and atole and all those wonderful treats. There is a certain amount of entrance now of Santa Claus. They call him Santa Claus. And the reindeer and all that wonderful things, but really it's about El Niño Dios, the Christ child. And it's a very touching experience. I live up north close to Camarillo, in Ventura County. And there's a lot of my kinfolk there. I'm Italian actually, but my father used to work for MGM. He was a casting director. And when he retired, he took us all to Guadalajara and planted me in an all-male Jesuit grade school, and I learned to swim very quickly. So that's my story, and I'll stick with it.
Well, that's amazing. And one of the treasured memories I have of this time was I was living in Phoenix a number of years ago, and I had some family members coming from Australia, where my wife is from. And so we wanted to show them a little bit about the area, so we actually drove to Santa Fe. And it was would have been next weekend equivalent, kind of the early teens of December. And we were in the town square, and one of these Las Posadas events was happening. And it is one of the things that I carry forward when I think about this time of year, seeing hundreds of people in a procession going around the square in Santa Fe and stopping in front of someone's a storefront, and then there was an apartment, and they would sing the Las Posadas song. And then the people would lean out of their window and they'd say, "Give us a place to stay." This is all in Spanish, of course. And then they'd say, "No, you can't be here." And the whole crowd would say, "Boo!" And then you do the procession again, moving on to the next house, it's the same thing. And then finally the Palace of the Governors opens and they say, "Yes, we'll take you." And then there's a huge community party. I won't forget it. It was cold, it was dark, they all had candles. It was really very touching.
The hearts are warmed up in the cold.
Yeah, and the food is fantastic, all the things that you described. And actually with the children's choir for our concerts tomorrow and Sunday, we're doing a mini posadas. So they'll all have candles because they're going to be entering to sing with the orchestra. So they're going to have some candles. We'll also have piñata, tree branches that are decorated, just to give people a little feeling. Because I think especially in this region, there are folks who experience this tradition every year, but there are the vast percentage of people who have no idea this is going on. And I would highly encourage you to keep an eye out on the event listings and go find just down the road any number of these events that are happening. Do you know of any that are in your...
Ventura County has them, the Catholic Church, the several big, Our Lady of the Assumption, Mary Magdalene, those not so far from here, and Ventura have beautiful posadas and large Mexican contingent, Latin American, and it's as warm and as welcoming as anything you might want to do this Christmas.
Oh wow, that is just like I said, it's one of the things I take forward. It's one of the clearest memories I have, even as an adult, of this holiday season. Ashley, I'm wondering if you might regale us with some more of your amazing selections.
I shall. This one, I'll just give you a brief introduction. This is, we're going to transition, I think, our program. This is a little bit of a holiday selection, and it's one that I sing every year because I love it so much. And when people say, do you have a holiday tune you like to sing? Yes, I do. You might recognize this from a show that comes on around this time of year every year. Charlie and his friends always find a way to get that Christmas tree decorated. Hope you enjoyed the song. While we wait, I'll paint the picture. Little cartoon kids, lots of snow, a little beagle, and winter wonder. Christmas time is here, happiness and cheer, fun for all the children call their favorite time of year. Snowflakes in the air, carols everywhere, olden time and ancient rhyme of love and dreams to share. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere. Yuletide by the fireside, and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here, we'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere. Yuletide by the fireside, and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here, we'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year.
I feel like we need to see someone walking across with dust following that, right?
It's gonna be my best Peanuts dance.
Right, right, exactly. So I was wondering if anybody wants to share a tradition that any of you find particularly, I don't know, momentous for you, or something that you really hold dear.
I want to thank Julia for singing about Bill. Bill was my husband of 60 years, died last year, and I've gotten through the time here at University Village because I play the violin, and I've invited to play 9 different performances, and that keeps me from sitting in the recliner and crying.
Thank you. I'm a violinist too. Thank you for telling me that.
Any traditions, culinary, I don't know, or otherwise calendar driven?
I grew up in Denmark, and we celebrate Christmas Eve just like it's okay. Okay. So I grew up in Denmark. We celebrate Christmas Eve, but in my family, we also celebrate the night before Christmas Eve. We call it Lille Juleaften, Little Christmas Eve. And what we do is we have a big bowl of porridge, rice porridge, cooked in milk, and there's a hidden almond in that, and whoever gets the almond gets a present. And then you share it with the rest of the family. It's a lovely tradition.
I love that. So now what I'm thinking is that you guys can all start thinking about each other's traditions and say, hey, can I come over and have some of this beautiful idea? Because everyone's thinking about the 25th and 24th, but you're talking about the 23rd. I don't know if we're all booked for the 23rd. We'll see.
Well, when I was growing up, every Thanksgiving and Christmas we had mincemeat pie. And now we never have mincemeat pie. I want to start a movement to bring back mincemeat pie.
So it's not just about traditions of old, but bringing new traditions. All right, so we're going to get some rice pudding and mincemeat and fantastic. Anybody else with a tradition you want to share?
Well, I'm a product of an Italian immigrant family that settled in Brooklyn, and we had a huge basement in our house, in my grandfather's house. And Christmas Eve was a meatless meal, and you just had fish and pastries and things like that. And the whole family gathered for this big meal. The Christmas tree was on the next floor, and at midnight, supposedly, Santa would ring the bell, and all the kids would run upstairs, and the Christmas tree was decorated, and there's presents below the tree. It was just a wonderful tradition.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing. We're going to come back for some more traditions because I see the gears turning in everybody's heads for these. But think, it's not even just about the Christmas or Hanukkah but it's this feeling when these dark nights become longer, and then my wife always jokes with me that when we get to June 21st. Which is the top of the summer solstice, she says, oh yeah, Michael, I can always anticipate that you'll say, oh, it's only getting darker from here, right? Exactly. But then the opposite is true, that you hit December 21st, and there's just something about it. Maybe it's baked in our DNA that we just think, oh, it's coming. The new year is coming, and that March to June is happening. Patrick, I wonder if you could share with us another piece of music.
Yes, absolutely. Should I?
Yeah, please.
Well, I think this song needs no introduction. It's the Christmas song, or Chestnuts Roasting, which, of course, for all of us brings back so many timeless memories.
Especially as East Coasters, right?
Especially as an East Coaster.
A few fewer chestnuts out this way, I think, possibly.
And, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, fewer, right? I can get the Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
one last round of traditions, and then we'll head off into our tradition-filled rest of December. Here we go.
I have collected pig ornaments for 40 years, and every year I put up a tree with 150 pigs on it. And then we eat a Mexican dinner complete with pork carnitas.
All right, so what I think, Holly, I think what you guys need here is like a winter solstice stroll through everybody that wants to share their traditions, and you have a stroll, unit to unit?
Well, for the people who signed up to do it, absolutely.
For the people who signed to do it, how cool is that?
December 20th.
December 20th. All right, see, you're already on top of this. You don't need me. That's fantastic. One last tradition, and then we'll thank these wonderful artists for being here.
It's bringing back memories of my Nona. I'm Italian, came from an immigrant family, and she always cooked risotto. And that was the only time we had it was Christmas.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely amazing. I hear somebody just said, gosh, there must be another one. Is there? Did you guys say, you do?
Yep, we got Christmas songs.
You do? All right, fantastic. All right.
Yep.
Well, let's line them up and enjoy a good little coda to the afternoon.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas I am dreaming tonight of a place that I love even more than I usually do. And although I know it's a long road back, I promise you
have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Oh, if only my dream.
Well, I can't thank you all enough. Everybody's good?
Everybody's good.
All right, fantastic. Patrick, Ashley, Julia, and John, boy, you've added such a wonderful, wonderful component to the beginning of the holiday season. We'll look forward to seeing all of you at the, I think that's the 3rd or 4th week of January for our next performances. We'll be highlighting actually the Chinese Lunar New Year, which is going to be really fun. We've got an artist who's been with us in the past playing traditional Chinese instruments with the orchestra with a piece that was written for us. And then we're heading into our 30th anniversary season. The New West Symphony is 30 years old. And it's amazing because so many institutions and even buildings in this area are all celebrating this 30-year mark. The Civic Arts Plaza, where we play in Thousand Oaks, this year in 2024 celebrates 30 years. We and many of the other arts organizations, there just was something in the water. In the early 90s, everybody was saying, hey, look, we're all moving out here. We need things to do and things to support. So thank you all so, so very much because you're such an important part of our lives. We're always thrilled to be out here before all of our concerts. And I just hope in every way that you celebrate your traditions, your holidays, that they are fun, they are relaxing, and they fill your hearts with everything that we come to expect from tradition. So I do see a hand up.
Yeah, is there a pre-show show this time?
Pre-show show. So there is this will be our 3rd Winter Fest. Before the performance, it is a fundraiser for the organization, so it is a sit-down, ticketed event which starts, I believe, at 4 o'clock, and they all of our Winterfest activities have had an international theme. Again, this is all under the winter solstice umbrella as we celebrate the traditions of cultures throughout history, and so we actually have each table of this event has a country designation. So Romania, Peru, Portugal, Mexico, Japan, and each of them is decorated and has highlights of traditions that are celebrated at this time of year, religion aside, but just from a societal, cultural standpoint, recipes, arts, etc. So that is happening, and then we will then go into the concert itself. Because of that activity, there is not a pre-concert talk at 6. That we normally have that at 6 o'clock. There's not this year because David Ravitch will be in the event with us, the Winterfest event, and then we will all move from that event to the Winter Spectacular. So a lot going on Saturday, tomorrow, with the orchestra for 4 o'clock, and then the concert's at 7. And I'm really happy. They've just been selling tons of tickets, so it's going to be a lot of people there. So yeah.
Would you have the pre-concert talk at Rancho Companion and Camarillo on Sunday?
We will have singers in the lobby, but no, we're not doing a pre-concert talk. I mean, you know, the reason is that the concert has so many components and parts. I mean, to give a lecture about a whole symphony doesn't happen for a piece that's 3 minutes. So yeah. Oh no, David does a great job. Absolutely. All right, my colleagues, thank you so very much. We'll see the 3 of you on stage. John, thank you so much for being with us. What a treat. Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays. We will see you in a month and a half's time. Take good care.